Alright, so welcome to today's lesson, how to use a Dutch oven, especially on camp out. What you're going to need when you're Dutch oven cooking is, of course, a Dutch oven. The ones that the troop provides are in the very back of the trailer, organized by your control group's color. They are the 12-inch diameter Dutch ovens. You're going to need fire safety stuff, of course, so I have a bucket of water right here. If you're at home, you can have a fire extinguisher. You're going to need with the troop, we offer a chimney that helps get the coals started. For some reason, I do not have one. I just have the bottom half of a meat smoker, and I'm just going to be using that because it will work. You're going to want to have fireproof gloves because you're going to be moving coals around and putting your hand near a lot of heat. Of course, you are going to also need coals. The troop provides coals, but it is a good idea to check after every time you use the Dutch oven and tell the quartermaster if we are running low. You're going to need aluminum foil. That is essential if you want an easy cleanup of a Dutch oven. Something to start a fire with, you know. In this case, I'm just going to be using standard lighter. And then, of course, you're going to want to have whatever you're cooking. In this case, I'm going to be making a apple crisp. So, first thing you're going to want to do is figure out how many coals you need. There's a chart, a lot like this one, that is inside the troop trailer, usually either with the Dutch ovens or with the chimneys, or with the chimney anyway, that tells you the ratio of coals you're going to use. So when you're baking, which is what I'm doing, you're going to want to put a 75% of your coals on top and 25% on the bottom. And for a 12-inch pan, or Dutch oven, which is what I'm using, at 350 degrees, you're going to want 25 coals total, which means you have 17 on top, 8 on bottom. So what you do is you get your bag of coals, pour out your 25 coals into the chimney. So I've got 25 coals in the chimney, although this isn't actually a chimney. I'm going to put it just a little bit out of frame. Now, what you're going to want to do, of course, is light your coals. On average, these coals take about 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes even 15 if they're the really high quality, long burn time ones, to make, or to get going. And you can tell they get going because they're no longer going to be on fire and they're just going to be smoldering and really hot. And so, let me get these coals going. Okay, so as you see now, the coals are on fire, which means they are not ready, and that they are taking their time to get ready. So I'm just going to put this to the side, somewhere where it won't burn down my house. And so now let's talk about the other things you need to know for use of a Dutch oven. This is stuff that I've written down. For one thing, what is a Dutch oven and why do you want to use it? Well, a Dutch oven is just a giant iron pot with a lid, some legs, and a handle. It's great for baking and long time meals that are just that you can't really do on a stove. Basically, if you need to do it in an oven or a microwave, this is what you use on a camp out. And actually, cooking requirement 3A for the cooking merit badge involves you explaining how to use a Dutch oven and temperature control, which is stuff that we are going to go over in this video. And cooking requirement 5D involves you actually cooking a meal with a Dutch oven, and of course this video shows you how to do that. A few things to note for safety. You're going to want to never ever leave your coals or Dutch oven unattended, although it can be very tempting to get your Dutch oven going and then just immediately walk away and just let the timer go. It's a very bad idea because you have flaming coals, or at least really hot coals that can catch stuff on fire. They're just sitting there. and so you want to practice fire safety when you're using this. Even though the coals are not on fire at most points, they are still smoldering and can easily catch things on fire. You still want to practice food safety when using a Dutch oven as well, and that can be discussed more in the Cooking Merit Badge book in terms of food preparation and safety. Some tips with using coals. On a good rule of thumb is if you want 350 degrees Fahrenheit, the amount of coals you need is double the diameter of your Dutch oven plus one, because you always want to have that extra one in there just in case. And so, for instance, my oven is 12 inches diameter. Double that is 28, or 24. My bad, math. Been out of school for too long. Double that is 24. Add 1, 25. If you can fry things in a Dutch oven. And to do that, you want all the heat on the bottom, so you only want to put coals on the bottom. If you're simmering, you want a lot of heat on the bottom and not much on top, so you're going to put 2/3 of your coals on the bottom, the rest on the top. If you're roasting something, you want even amounts of heat, so you're going to put 50-50. Baking, which is what I'm doing, you're going to want most of the heat on the top, so you're going to put 75% of it on top. And then while your Dutch oven is cooking, or whatever you're doing is in your Dutch oven, you're going to want to do rotations, which basically involves, I'm going to show more of this, I'm going to show this later. You're going to want to take the Dutch oven itself, rotate it rotate it 90 degrees one way, and then take the lid and rotate it 90 degrees the other way, and that keeps like a equal distribution of heat. And then on average, you can get about an hour's worth of heat out of these coals. I certainly wouldn't trust these coals, at least the Easy Light ones, for more than an hour. Make sure you do use high quality coals. What I do is, if I know I'm baking something for more than an hour, I will at about 45 minutes in, I will then set up a second set of coals to go, and then once I get an hour in, I will swap them out just by moving it around. Now, one other thing you need to know is that on campouts, you have to have these giant steel plates. That does two things. One keeps the coals from burning the ground. You don't want to start a fire. And two, that reflects heat back up at the Dutch oven, so it keeps it warmer. It's like the ground pad for when you're sleeping. The coals look like they are still burning, so I'm going to come back to you when we are ready to move on to the next step. Alright, so these coals are ready. You can tell by, well, you can't really tell this from the video unless there are heat wave in front of my face, which, I don't know, I can't really tell it from the camera's perspective right now. But one, these coals are very, very hot. Two, there's not really any flame, although there still is a little bit now that this thing's getting more oxygen, which tells me that they're almost ready. They're not quite ready. If I blow on them, they don't really spark much, they just glow red. My left hand is very hot right now, so I'm going to go put this back. Yeah, these coals are pretty much ready. They're now like grayish. They have black charring on them a little bit. That hasn't really burned off yet. Blowing on them shouldn't really produce much flame or smoke. They also should you can also tell your coals are ready because they have stopped smoking all the time. Alright, so now you have your Dutch oven. The first thing you should have done before even getting to this step is make sure that it's clean. It's clean. Your Dutch oven should always be clean because everyone who uses them should clean them afterwards. But if not, that's a problem, and you need to clean it and make sure they're like all dry and everything. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and get some aluminum foil or tin foil. Doesn't really matter what you call it; it's all the same. And pull out a sheet. Make sure you have the shiny side facing towards you, or at least shiny side should always go up. since that last cut, I have put the tin foil in, and you notice it's shiny side up, and it completely covers the entire inside of the Dutch oven except for there, but that's okay. And then I've put my first layer of crust in, and then I've put the apples in, and then I'm going to put the next layer of crust in, and then go ahead and put the coals on. So I'll be right back when that's ready. So now I've got the Dutch oven ready to cook stuff, and that means I need to put 8 coals on the bottom and 17 on top. So I take Dutch oven off of whatever I'm going to be putting it on, and I get my fireproof gloves. And this is when you really don't want to be afraid of the fire, because if you are, you're going to get burned. But if you're not afraid of it and you respect it, you're good. So I get 8 on the bottom, so that is 4, 8. So just spread them out a little bit. These gloves are not meant for that, apparently. Put the Dutch oven on it, and then take the rest, and then just pour them onto your Dutch oven. Alright, so now what you see is I've put, you can't really see the coals, but there are definitely coals under there that are evenly distributed, and then there are coals up here that are also evenly distributed. So you're actually going to want to also put your lid or your carrying handle up, and as soon as you finish pouring the coals on, that is when you start your timer. In this case I have 45 minutes until my meal's ready. I'm going to be watching that timer approximately for every 15 minutes, and every 15 minutes I will be churning it, which you will see after this cut. It's been about a little bit more than 15 minutes of just sitting in this position, so now what you have to do is get like a multi-tool or something. Most troop gear boxes have either like a special pliers for this, or there with the Dutch oven. You rotate it 90 degrees one way. It seems like the metal on this fire pit is breaking. And then you take the lid and rotate it 90 degrees the other. And what that does is make sure the heat is evenly distributed throughout your whole meal, so that it gets evenly cooked. I'll be back at the end of this so you can see what it should look like. Alright, so it's been 45 minutes and it's finally time to take off the lid and check on this thing. So you just use your multi-tool to pick up the lid, and be very careful not to let any of this ash fall into your food, because not only is it disgusting, but it also can ruin the food. And it looks like anyway, so it looks like there seems to be a bumblebee very interested in what I'm doing over here. Anyway, now you can see, oh, that looks so nice. Of course it is very warm. And yeah, let me cut to when I'm ready to take this thing out, and I'll be right back. So now that it's ready to be moved, one thing you should note: never do this on a glass table. I mean, I have put wood under the Dutch oven, but this could easily roll and break the glass, not only because it's so heavy, but because it's hot. So make sure you're doing this above like a durable surface. But all you really have to do is pick it up, pick up the sides of the tin foil, and just plop it onto your plate. And there you go. You now have a nice little meal that you've cooked in the Dutch oven. Now, and then for cleaning, all you gotta really do is just wipe that down with a paper towel, and it's ready to be put back in the trailer. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I am certainly going to enjoy this apple crisp. Have any questions, comments, please leave them below. And yeah, I hope to see you all soon.